32 NFL schedules just dropped. Let's take a quick look and review every single team's schedule, and I guess review every single game of 2024. Starting with the 49ers, and I am extremely excited for this Jets versus Niners matchup. 49ers have been Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite, and now Rodgers has to go back to San Francisco once again, the team that passed on him famously in that 2005 draft, and the team that's eliminated him in the playoffs 4 times in his career. Keep in mind, this is also a Monday Night Football game, the same time slot that Aaron Rodgers got injured last year in the first game of the season. And the 49ers signed Leonard Floyd, the same player that injured Aaron Rodgers last season. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of storylines going into that game. And I low-key want the Jets to win. And the 49ers have a stretch of games so they could get hot heading into that Super Bowl rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 7. They could be entering this KC matchup probably with 1 loss, 2 at the most. Then they play Dallas, who they kind of just infamously owned over the last couple of years. The next game I can't wait to see on this schedule will be Green Bay in Green Bay this time. Remember, the 49ers eliminated the Packers last year. Then, of course, the NFC Championship rematch against the Lions in Week 17. And I can't forget, in Week 16, I just noticed Mike McDaniel revenge game. We'll see how the Dolphins look that late in the season. On to the Bears. Looks like we're getting the Bears in the Hall of Fame game. Will we see Caleb Williams play in that one? I doubt it. They open up the year against the Tennessee Titans. I kind of like Chicago, and that one just depends on how good Will Levis is to open up the year. We get a Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud in Week 2. But something you really will notice when you look at the Chicago Bears schedule, they don't play a division rival until Week 11 against the Pack, and then they play all 6 of their games in the division from there on. Everyone's been telling me the Bears should make the playoffs this year. I personally don't bet on any rookie quarterback to make the playoffs. Very rarely do they, but if they are going to make the playoff, they have a gauntlet to run through in the NFC their last 8 weeks or so. Let's look at the Bengals here. They obviously are really reliant on Joe Burrow staying healthy. New England Week 1, that should be manageable for the Bengals. And man, they aren't playing any games to open up the year. Cincinnati has to travel to Kansas City Week 2. This should be a primetime game. I'm surprised to see it in the 4:25 slot. AFC North is always a ton of fun seeing them playing October 6th against the Baltimore Ravens. That'll be great. Obviously Cleveland. And then they have the Philadelphia trip October 27th. 2020 draft class matchup right there between Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow. I mean, other than Baltimore, not too many frightening defenses for Joe Burrow to be scared of until the final stretch of the year where, you know, they play Baltimore again on Thursday Night Football November 7th. Then they have like 10 days off before they play the Chargers, whose defensive line is sneaky. Maybe one of the best in the league right now. Dallas, Tennessee, Cleveland, Denver, Pittsburgh, all of those defenses are going to be coming for Joe Burrow's head. Hey, man, I'm rooting for the guy to stay healthy, just like all you Bengals fans are. Here's the Broncos schedule. Obviously, a team I root against as a Chargers fan. Week 1, they're playing against Seattle Seahawks, and Seattle's just had Denver's number over the years. Pittsburgh matchup. Week 2, circle that one. Russell Wilson's coming to Denver. Which duo would you rather have, Mike Tomlin or Russell Wilson, or Sean Payton and Bo Nix? Denver's a team I don't really believe in that much. Again, rookie quarterback. The 6th quarterback taken off the board in last year's draft, probably going to have to start unless they go with Zach Wilson, which I could also see happening. So I don't like them versus the Bucs, who've been rocking together now. This is year 2. I don't like them against the Jets. The Raiders have like a 10-year winning streak on the Broncos right now. Of course, I'm taking my Chargers over the Broncos in that 105 game. Maybe I'll give them the Saints, the Panthers game. But things aren't sweet for a rebuilding Broncos team when they also have the Ravens, the Chiefs twice, Bengals on this schedule. Might be a tough year for you Broncos fans, but it's all part of the plan, I'm sure. Let's take a peek at Cleveland's schedule. Dallas versus Cleveland, Week 1. That'll be an interesting game. Then they have a nice stretch of games here where I think the Browns could start off hot this year. Then Pittsburgh, 2 out of 3 games. KC, Cincinnati, Miami, Baltimore, all to close the year. That's not a great final stretch to be scheduled if you're trying to make the playoffs in the AFC wildcard bubble. Here's Tampa's schedule. There's nothing super interesting on here. I mean, the Bucs have been pretty calm throughout the offseason. We don't really have any crazy rivalries built. I guess maybe Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore, New Orleans, Week 6, Week 18 to close the year. I think Tampa's going to be a solid team that'll give a lot of these good teams like the Lions, the Ravens, the 49ers, Cowboys a run for their money in games. Division rivalry game with Kirk Cousins there in Atlanta. On Thursday Night Football, October 3rd, Week 5. I like to see that. People were telling me that the Cardinals schedule is brutal. Looking at it now, and this is brutal. I mean, the first 3 weeks are really tough. You got the Bills, the division rival Los Angeles Rams, although they do not have Aaron Donald to chase down Kyler Murray anymore. The Lions, and then you go 49ers, Packers, Chargers, Dolphins, Man, this is a tough start for the Cardinals. They could find themselves in a hole in the first half of the season. Let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts schedule. Right away, we get a good test for Anthony Richardson. He's going against his draft classmate, CJ Stroud. To see Anthony Richardson go against another young quarterback with high expectations in the Chicago Bears week 3, that'll be entertaining as it gets. It all really just depends on how good Anthony Richardson is. Is he an upgrade from Gardner Minshew? Because if he is, I can see the Colts winning 10 games again. The Commanders. Can't wait for, again, Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. Week 8. That's going to be fun. They should have put that one on Thursday Night Football or something. And of course, Jaden Daniels is getting a welcome to the division. Eagles and Cowboys both in the last 3 weeks of the year. I don't have high expectations for this Commanders team, but I do think they could surprise a little. Fly, Eagles, fly. I am on the Eagles bandwagon this year. I think that Saquon Barkely addition just transforms this offense to the next level. So, to see them getting a test week 1 against the Green Bay Packers in Brazil? That's a lot of fun, man. Saquon revenge game week 7 against the Giants. That Cincy game should be a lot of fun. Anytime Cincy plays any good team, it's a lot of fun. I can see the Eagles winning this division back this year. Kirk Cochain's first season as an Atlanta Falcon, and his first game is going to be against Russell Wilson in his first game as a Pittsburgh Steeler. That'll be interesting because the Atlanta O-line has been a bit of an eyesore, especially in pass protection, going against a really good pass rush of the Steelers. And they have back-to-back tough games, Eagles and Kansas City. They really need to win that Pittsburgh game. But forget all that. What we're all looking forward to is week 14, Minnesota Vikings versus Kirk Cousins. Kirk can get revenge on Minnesota for not signing him this last offseason, and then 3 weeks later play his other former team, the Washington Commanders. Giants, man, this is going to be rough. Looking at this, I could probably count on one hand the games that I think the Giants even have a chance to win. Jags are another team that it's time to put up or shut up. Trevor Lawrence has to take that leap into elite quarterbackdom. If he doesn't, it's going to be a tough spot for the Jaguars next offseason. Decide, do we give this man a contract with 0 success, or do we move on from Trevor Lawrence, trade him for a boatload of picks probably, and draft a quarterback with our probably high pick if Trevor Lawrence fails? We're starting it off fast with the Miami Dolphins. We'll see what the Jaguars are about that first game of the season. I do like seeing the back-to-back London games. I think the Jaguars have the advantage in both those games. This division is really tough with Anthony Richardson coming back, CJ Stroud, and they got to play their division in the last 6 weeks of the season. They play Houston, Tennessee twice. They play Tennessee twice, and Indianapolis all in the final month. The Jets, Jets are going to shock the NFL this year. At least I hope. Obviously, this is a team that I'm rooting for. I gravitate towards the teams that I think are really good that everyone's doubting and hating on. No one likes Aaron Rodgers, so I like Aaron Rodgers. I don't know, man. It just reminds me a lot of when Brady went over to Tampa Bay and found some success. I know Aaron Rodgers went through a crazy injury, but with today's technology and modern medicine and health, he's going to come back and be completely fine. I just hope he stays healthy because this offense is built for Aaron Rodgers to just run this thing like a machine. You have the running backs. You have the offensive line now. Loaded with wide receivers, Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson. And the Jets defense is going to be amazing. But even if they lose to the 49ers, I think that I'll take them against Tennessee. I'll take them against New England. I'll take them against Denver. I like them overseas against rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy. I like them against the Bills at home on Monday Night Football. I'll take them against Pittsburgh. I'll take them against New England a second time. DJ Stroud versus Aaron Rodgers before Aaron Rodgers retires. Get your popcorn ready. I'll take them against Arizona. I think it'll be a good game with the Colts. If healthy, I can see this Jets team winning 11 games. Maybe on the low end. They do have a tough stretch to end the year. Miami, Jacksonville, LA, Buffalo, Miami. That is really tough, especially, knock on wood, if you don't have your quarterback. Here's the Detroit Lions schedule, man. Will they get the #1 seed this year? You get Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff. That was a banger last time. It'll be a banger again. But man, this is tough. Let's count the playoff teams from last year. We got the Bucks, the Rams, Cowboys, Packers twice, Texans, Colts, Bills, 49ers. Half their schedule is really good teams. But I believe that the Lions are better than most of these teams. They are probably one of the best and most talented rosters in the entire league. So I think they'll be just fine playing this tough schedule. The Packers are one of the more interesting teams to call. Obviously, Jordan Love broke out last year, and now Jordan Love is playing for a contract. So I expect him to be on his A game, work his ass off this offseason. The Packers have a very similar schedule to their division rivals, the Detroit Lions. It's tough. It's going to be an uphill battle. I think it could be another wild card spot for the Packers this year. The Panthers actually kind of have a light schedule, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to win very many games again this year, which would be good for them this time because they actually have their first round pick this year. It's that gauntlet at the end of the year. They got KC week 12, Tampa week 13, Philly week 14, Dallas week 15, maybe a heating up Cardinals week 16. Tampa again, and then Atlanta to close the season, probably playing for their playoff spot as well. I can see the Panthers losing all of those games. Spilled a little bit there. Let's look at the Pats, who are also fielding a rookie quarterback this year. Drake May was taken with the 3rd overall pick. He's going to play Joe Burrow in his first career game. A hungry, starving Joe Burrow at that. Doesn't get much easier from there. I think that the Patriots are kind of a rebuilding roster. They're going to play tough, as the Patriots do. But which teams will you take the Patriots to win against on this schedule as of today? Let me know in the comments. Be honest. Don't blink, because you might miss out on the Dolphins season. I'm just kidding. But it is all about Tua staying healthy once again, as it is every year for the Dolphins. And if he does, they're going to be one of the best offenses in the league again. I actually like them a little bit better than Buffalo this year. Straight up, without even having to really think about it too much. I'll take them against Jacksonville week 1. I'll take them against Seattle week 3. Tennessee, New England. The Dolphins have an easy schedule to start off the year. They can get off to another hot start. It all comes down to, can they win some of these cold weather games late in the year? It could be really cold in Cleveland week 17. It could be really cold against the Jets week 18. If they can win half of those cold weather games, the Dolphins in this schedule are probably going to win 11 games. We got a few more teams to go over, but first, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, hi, I'm NFLMike, and I make NFL content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and twice on Sunday. If you're an NFL fan, I know you'll love the videos. Please, just subscribe. Like I said, it'll take 2 seconds. And then make sure you like this video real quick. Stop. I'm not going to continue the video until you hit the thumbs up button. Did you do it? That should be plenty of time. It helps tell the algorithm to send this video to more NFL fans like me and you. Free way to support my channel. And then a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video, Rebet, the first social betting platform that allows you to play against me. I have never seen an app with a peer-to-peer feature as cool as Rebet. So completely free. You can use the link in my description or promo code NFLMike, and they'll give you some free Rebet cash to play with. Also, by the way, I'm teaming up with Rebet for some pretty awesome giveaways. Here they all are. Help me hit these follower goals, y'all. I want to send one of you to the Super Bowl this year. So please follow me, so that way when the NFL season comes and I drop all of these ridiculous takes all off season, you can now tell me to put my money where my mouth is. Here's the Raiders. I've really been on my Raiders hate lately. I think the Raiders are going to do really good against teams that have weak offensive lines. That's not my Los Angeles Chargers anymore, because they used their first round pick on a right tackle. I think the Chargers are going to beat them week 1. I think the Ravens are going to beat them week 2. But fortunately for the Raiders, some better matchups are coming. Panthers, Broncos, Steelers. And then the one I got circled for the Raiders is really late in the year, so the chances of Derek Carr still being healthy are probably really low. But Derek Carr, revenge game against the Raiders. Week 17, is that in Vegas or in New Orleans? What's the black? Is the black home or away? It doesn't say on this fucking thing. I'm gonna assume that the black is home and the white are away, and they're gonna have to go visit Derek Carr in his new city. LA Rams, who crushed their schedule release this year, loved it. And I love the Rams offense. The defense is gonna be a question mark, but they always play hard under this Sean McVay staff. Week 1 against the Lions, we're gonna find out a lot about the Rams. They could be one of the best offenses in the league next year. They got Kyron Williams and Blake Corum coming out the backfield, a growing offensive line, Matthew Stafford getting healthy, and he's going to be healthiest for this first stretch of games, and I think that they can win a bunch of these games. Week 3 against the 49ers, that'll be a fun one. And they got some fun games that could turn into shootouts, like that Dolphins game. Week 14 against the Buffalo Bills. Jets, week 16. I've always been high on the Ravens, so you can imagine I was really excited when my Chargers got a Harbaugh. I think the Ravens, even on this kind of really tough schedule, they're going to win the AFC North again. It's just, what can they do in the playoffs once they get there? Can't wait for the Hard Bowl. It's on Monday Night Football, the week of Thanksgiving. That's going to be so much fun. AFC Championship rematch week 1. We'll see how the Ravens do in that one. The Chiefs have kind of been their kryptonite, but they've been everyone's kryptonite. I love to see the last stretch of the season, the Ravens possibly playing for the division. Steelers, Browns week 18, but right in there is a big one in the AFC playoff picture against the Houston Texans. Saints, man, your guess is as good as mine how good this team's gonna be. They've got a lot of experienced veterans that should be able to put this together, but last year it was a fucking mess. So we'll see what it's like this year. We're gonna find out really early, because they play the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bucks. I mean, this is a brutal first 2 months of the year. Like I said, that Las Vegas Raiders game that is now confirmed in New Orleans here on this schedule. I think the Seahawks are gonna be a team that doesn't do so hot this year. It's really because of the quarterback position, and the competition in the NFC West just keeps getting better and better. I expect to see Sam Howell at some point in the year. Not that I hate Geno Smith, I just don't think he's going to ever elevate this offense to the next level. But Seattle could beat Denver. They kind of got their number. I think they could beat New England week 2. They could be 2-0 heading into the stretch of the Dolphins and Lions, but then beat the Giants, and then good luck. San Fran, Atlanta, Buffalo, LA. Bye week, San Fran, Arizona, New York, Arizona. I mean, it is just tough from there. Let's ride, Steelers fans. Just kidding. The NFL gave y'all the hardest schedule by a mile. Look at this thing. Mike Tomlin somehow, some way willed that team last year to keep the streak alive, and Roger Goodell said, hold my beer. What is this? They play Atlanta week 1, who just got Kirk Cousins. My Chargers, who just got Jim Harbaugh week 3. And y'all gave them Indy. Vegas was a huge mismatch with their defensive line. Dallas, New York, the good New York and the bad New York. Then we get late in the season here, their final 2 months. Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Cleveland. What? It gets better to the final 4 weeks. They have to go to Philadelphia, go to Baltimore, and if that wasn't enough, and they're still somehow playing for a winning season and a possible AFC wildcard spot, Kansas City and Cincinnati to end their season. Probably end their season. Houston fans got to be excited about this season. I still think that they're the best team in their division, and they got a lot better this offseason. I think they can beat Indy to open the year. I think they're going to beat Chicago, Minnesota, Jacksonville. I'll take Houston over Buffalo. I'll take Houston over New England. I'll take Houston over Green Bay and Indy again. I mean, we could get through the first 10 weeks of the season and they're going into Detroit undefeated. Or actually, they're welcoming the Lions. Lions are coming to Houston. Things get rough the second half of the season, but the Texans can definitely start off hot. Let's go to the Titans here, and their whole entire season depends on Will Levis. I talked about it in the storyline video. D-Hop's obviously playing his old team, the Texans, twice a year now. Calvin Ridley gets the Jaguars twice a year. Those will obviously be interesting. Other than that, I think the Titans will be like they've been, man, a good defensive team that's trying to find a health on offense. And here's JJ McCarthy in the Minnesota Vikings schedule. I don't usually bet on rookie quarterbacks to succeed their first year, but if anyone's going to succeed their first year, it's going to be JJ McCarthy in this Vikings offense. All the pieces are there to support a rookie quarterback. It's a great system. Kevin O'Connell's been amazing for Kirk Cousins. At minimum, they're going to be a good offensive team. I still don't quite believe in this defense, though. And I think it could be another rough year for the Vikings, but it'll get them a little bit closer because they will get a high draft pick, and hopefully they could take another edge rusher to go with Dallas Turner next season. Or maybe add a shutdown corner. I think that would help this defense out a ton. I've been kind of saying it all offseason that the Bills might be in trouble this year if their schedule comes out and it's kind of tough. And just briefly looking at this, I think that they play like 9 playoff teams from last year. And then last year, they didn't have to play a healthy Jets team. Remember, Aaron Rodgers, like I said earlier, got hurt in the first freaking drive of that game. I know y'all been waiting. Here's my Los Angeles Chargers 2024 schedule. And I will tell you, as a Chargers fan, I am ecstatic for this schedule. I am excited for this schedule. Get the Raiders week 1 so we can get that 63-21 bullshit out of here immediately. This reminds me so much of a couple years ago after the Raiders beat the Chargers in week 18. Should have took the tie, yada, 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 timeouts, Brendan Staley. The Chargers festered on that loss all offseason, and then they got the Raiders week 1 of the next season. And I was there in the stands to watch all the Raiders fans leave crying. In fact, I don't know if the Raiders have won in SoFi Stadium yet. Oh, I just checked. They're 2-7 since the Rams and Chargers have moved to SoFi. So all this talk about blacking out SoFi Stadium, it's not really working out too well. I think that Jim Harbaugh is going to have my Bolts pissed going into this game. And the new mentality of this team is going to stomp the Raiders. And we get Panthers. I like that matchup. I do think the Steelers did a lot of work on that offensive line, but I don't know if they're going to be able to handle this pass rush. By week 4, the Chargers could be in a groove going into KC. Or actually, I should say they're hosting KC in SoFi Stadium. And win or lose that game, you go straight into a bye week to recover from whatever happens against the Chiefs. You get Broncos, very manageable. They always give us fits, but we could beat the Broncos on the road. Arizona on Monday Night Football. Justin Herbert's first primetime game of the year. A guy that's been notoriously great on primetime. You got a lot of Ravens players, staff members, coaches on this team that know the Browns very well. Titans, Will Levis, and, kind of older, banged up wide receivers by this time in the year. I don't even know if those guys will be available. That week 11 game, hopefully Joe Burrow is still in the lineup. That's going to be phenomenal. But Justin Herbert is undefeated against Joe Burrow. And you got the Harbaugh week 12. I'll admit that's going to be a hell of a game and a hell of a fight for the Chargers to try and win. The second KC game isn't until week 14. So win or lose, the Chargers will probably know, are we going for the division or are we going for a wild card spot down the stretch? And once again, just like the 63-point loss, they can avenge week 18 in week 18. It's so perfectly built. It's like Roger Goodell asked me to build the schedule. Be honest with yourself. If the Chargers stay healthy throughout the year, what's their record going to be looking at this schedule? I don't think you can argue worse than 10-7. And speaking of the devil, here's the Chiefs. And they gave them a championship winning schedule. Ravens week 1. That's going to be a ton of fun. I know Patrick Mahomes has owned the Ravens. I have a whole video coming out on it later in the week, so make sure you're subscribed. Baltimore's been stewing on that loss, so who knows what's going to happen. Cincy week 2. Man, how exciting would it be to see the Chiefs lose the first 2 games of the season? And Atlanta's not going to be a pushover team, although I'd like to take the Chiefs in this one before they go against their first AFC West opponent, the Los Angeles Chargers. The Super Bowl rematch is in the first 7 weeks of the year as well. All Raiders-Chiefs games are extremely entertaining no matter what happens. Bills week 11. This schedule is pretty tough on KC. If they run this one and win 12 games, they're probably going to win another Super Bowl. Here's them Dallas Cowboys 2024 schedule. I'm really interested to see how the Cowboys season unfolds, because if you drop an L week 1 to the Browns and another week 3 versus the Ravens, you're 1-2. Maybe you beat New York and Pittsburgh and head into that Lions game at 3-2, dropping to 3-3 before the bye week. Looking at the rest of the schedule, with all of their players backed against the wall contract-wise, CD needs a contract. Dak Prescott needs a contract. Micah Parsons needs a contract. I can see some business decisions being made after the bye week if they start dropping games. I mean, San Fran, Kirk Cousins, the Eagles, CJ Stroud and the Texans. By then, Jaden Daniels should be getting in the groove for the Washington game in Washington. They also play the Bengals and the Buccaneers late in the season. I could see the wheels falling off. Mike McCarthy being hung out to dry and Dak Prescott being hung out to dry. But hey, Cowboys fans, this team's super talented. In theory, they should still be as good as they've been in previous years. I've just seen this happen with teams so many times where they go all in on their current roster but don't pay them any money, and all of those players get banged up, and every single player in the entire league is gonna get banged up throughout the year. Willingness to play through those little bumps and bruises can really determine the difference between 12 wins and 7. Also, I'll see you Cowboys fans Saturday, August 24th in SoFi Stadium for that preseason game. So that's a rapid fire of all 32 NFL team schedules. How will your favorite team do in 2024? I guess sooner rather than later. The schedule won't lie.
Bill Flames, I went Mike on the mic. With something brand new, one time for your mind. He gave you fair warning. Now it's time to smack him in the mouth with that raw sports talk from the town. Sweet chin music to your favorite sportscaster.